Hey guys, it's Bradley with the Insurance Guys podcast. You know, over the past year that we've been recording this podcast, Scott and I have met some amazing individuals and received some amazing advice. So we decided to do something for our audience that may or may not be able to listen to every single episode. We put together a white paper / ebook of the top 7 things that you must do in your agency in 2018 and 2019. We're giving this to you guys free as of right now. You can text the word book, BOOK, to 251-418-4724. Follow the prompts and you will promptly receive that book. Or you can email me at bradley@saralandinsurance.com. That's not going to be automated like the text, but you can receive it that way as well.
Insurance agents from around the world, welcome to the Insurance Guys podcast, hosted by yours truly, Scott Howell, and the incomparable Bradley Flowers. For agents, by agents, we're here to share real-life experiences, tips, and insights related to all aspects of both being an insurance agent and running a successful agency. So sit back, turn up the volume, and let's get down to business. Insurance agents from around the world, welcome to the Insurance Guys podcast. My name is Scott Howell, your fearless host and leader, insurance agency owner and insurance evangelist for I Protect Insurance and Financial Services, based out of Huntsville, Alabama. Before we get started on today's podcast, please help me welcome. He is a 6'3" sophomore from Saraland, Alabama, parade first-team All-American, Rivals 5-star recruit. He is going to be a guest speaker at the VaynerMedia Agent 2021 conference. He is a fantastic insurance agent, and ladies and gentlemen, a good friend of mine. Please stand and welcome the incomparable Mr. Bradley Flowers. How are you, Bradley?
I'm great, Scott. How are you today?
Man, I am doing super-tabulous today, guys. I am in Mobile, Alabama, home of the free, land of the brave, and I am just fired up and excited. What I'd really like to do right now is flip this table over in this freaking Deep Fried Studios podcasting studio right now. I'm so excited. Before we get started today, guys, let me talk about a couple of things. Number one, our mission on this podcast. Our mission is to help insurance agents all over the world in any way we can. Sales, marketing, digital, content marketing, hint, hint, hiring, firing, networking, how to start a scratch agency, you name it, we're going to do it. We are here for you guys. Reach out to us if you need us, call us, and I know Bradley loves to talk about this. Get on our podcast and leave a comment or send us an email and tell us how much you hate our podcast and want to see us off the air.
We love it all.
Yeah, we love it all, baby. We love it all. Promise you won't hurt my feelings. You might hurt Bradley's, but I'll walk him off the cliff when you do that. Don't worry about it.
It'll be okay. It'll be okay.
Before we get started today, guys, I want to introduce our guest, and I am humbled, blessed, and honored to have her on this podcast. Before I introduce her, I've got a quote here that I wrote down earlier today. She is the best... Now, this is a huge step out, Bradley. She is the best content marketer in the game today. That was said earlier today by Mr. Bradley Flowers.
Who got that from Ryan Hanley?
Who is another one of the best content marketers in the game. So here we go, guys. She is the Chief Marketing Officer at the O'Neill Group. She initially began her career as a dancer, an arts advocate, and fast forwarding after a few injuries, she landed a creative role in the insurance industry. Since then, she's been working at the O'Neill Group. She has established the agency's digital footprint through video marketing, social media, content marketing, and SEO strategy, which I know nothing about. She's also transformed the agency brand to center around its culture and has humanized the brand experience through the power of digital marketing. Bradley, you're going to fall in love with her today, by the way. She received her bachelor's degree from the University of Akron and her master's degree from Temple University. She resides outside of Akron, Ohio, with her smoking hot husband, Zach, and their 3 beautiful children. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the other incomparable Miss Dani Kimble. How you doing, Dani?
I'm doing well. That was quite an introduction. Thank you.
Oh, well, you're so welcome. You deserve it. You deserve every word of it. And I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. Obviously, I've only been researching you for about a day, but everything I've seen and heard from you and about you, you are a game changer in the world of content marketing. And I am excited to have you on the podcast today.
She kills it on Instagram stories.
Absolutely kills it. Absolutely kills it, guys. If you want to see how to do it, go follow Dani Kimble, Kimble, on Instagram. What is your Instagram handle, Dani?
My personal Dani Kimble 2, and the O'Neill Group is the O'Neill Group _.
Gotcha. Guys, go follow her, see how it's done. As Gary Vaynerchuk says, don't listen to what I say, do what I do. Before we get started, Dani, I want to go ahead and get in our DeLorean for just a moment. You get in the passenger seat with me, and I want to go back in time. And let's talk a little bit more. I know I mentioned it briefly in your bio, but let's talk a little bit more, and you tell us about how you actually got in the insurance business and the industry, and take us up to today.
Sure. Like many of us, I literally stumbled into the insurance industry. I was in the arts, the performing arts. I had got my master's degree in dance and education, and my final semester there blew my knee out. Was able to recover within a 6-month period and continue on the dance journey. And 5 years later, I blew my knee, the same injury, blew my knee out again. I tried a femoral attachment from my knee to my hip. And had the surgery, and that was really the blessing in disguise. The doctor really just told me, okay, it's time. Like, your time is over. I got 10 great years in the performing arts. I absolutely loved it and still love it. And I decided, now's the time to kind of make a transition. I knew I wanted to do something creative. I was literally, right before surgery, online looking for jobs on Indeed. No joke, feeling sorry for myself with a broken leg, and applied for a marketing coordinator position at the O'Neill Group, which is the insurance agency that I work for now. It's the local insurance agency about 10 minutes from my house. And I walked in, I crouched into that interview. I just had surgery and was in a cast from my hip down to my ankle when I walked in there, and sat down for the interview, met the people, and the people sold me right away.
So you walked in with a cast on your leg?
Yeah. I had surgery about 4 days before the interview. I didn't know if I could drive. Got in the car, sat on a towel to see if I could keep my legs straight, and made it there. But yeah, and then just meeting the president, Patrick O'Neill, and his son, Pat O'Neill, and our chief operating officer, Jody Maybach. I met with them during the interview, and the culture sold me right away.
And when you took that initial position with them, at that time, was the position available for this content marketing strategy that you're using now and the things that you're doing now? Or did you take another position and then through the course of time just kind of moved over into this role?
So they were hiring a marketing coordinator.
Okay.
So technically a marketing position, but I've been able to really define what that role is. So I've been there about 2.5 years now, and have kind of transformed the way that they were initially marketing while we're still doing a lot of the traditional marketing tactics and strategies, kind of taking it to a different level around the digital space. So yes and no. And
tell us a little bit, before we get into the meat and potatoes of content marketing and what you do and don't do, tell us a little bit about your strategy. If I sat down with you over dinner one night and we were just having a discussion about Dani's strategy to content marketing and all the things that we mentioned in your bio here, what is your strategy?
Sure, that's a good question, and it's still kind of being defined a little bit. But what I do is I start with high-level topics that I know are either value pieces for our current clients. So we do a lot. We do about 70% commercial business insurance, and then 30% personal. So we have a heavy focus in business. But I focus on the areas that they need help with. So an example would be maybe OSHA. Workplace safety. And then I find information that they're looking for or they need help with, and I begin looking at Google trends, Google search trends to see, okay, what questions are people asking in Google? What are the keywords that people are looking for? And I then start developing the content around the specific things that people are searching, and I start with a long-form post, so I'll create a long-form blog post that kind of is tailored to the keywords, and I create from that blog post, then I kind of drill down the content, create a video from that, and using the blog post as basically my script for the video. So almost every blog post on our website has a video that goes with it. And I learned this from Joey Jingle at Agency Nation. He said, include a video on your blog post, create the description in the YouTube post, embed the video to the blog. And so it's basically just doubling up my SEO, my search engine optimization, so that we have the opportunity to rank higher in Google. And then what I do with that content is then I flip it into a client experience strategy. So it goes into an email platform. We use HubSpot, and we start sending and dripping that value out to our current clients.
So you take that one subject and you've got a blog post, you've got a video, you've got content for drip campaign, and then you can probably take that one post and take several little nuances and facets of it and turn that into some Instagram and Facebook content as well, right?
Yeah. Yep. Move it over to the social space. LinkedIn, we're sharing it out on LinkedIn a lot if it's commercial based. And then if we're doing personalized content, so what we did around the personalized content was to try and make it more real experiences. So, for example, I just did a ATV insurance video where I was riding on a four-wheeler with my husband.
I saw that.
In his parents' cabin. And focusing on the risks that we face every day, right? And that's as simple as riding on a four-wheeler in the field. And then talking about ATV insurance while some of that B-roll is happening. And then those personalized videos tailor more towards Facebook and Instagram because more of my personalized clients and prospects are in that space for us. So
I love it so much because it's you're hitting all of the market. What is it that Mike Stromso says?
My friend and great American, Mike Stromso, who's probably one of the best, not only insurance agents, but just teachers. He's got the heart of a teacher. Mike's one of those guys. Mm-hmm. He has the Unstoppable Profit Producer. Do you know Mike?
I do. I attended the Unstoppable Profit Producer boot camp at my first year in the industry.
Yeah, I just got back from it about 3 weeks ago. But one of the things that Mike says is, if you're going to hit 100% of the market, if you want to reach 100% of the market, you got to be in 100% of the places everybody's at. So that's a lot of what you're doing. You're putting content out across all medium platforms, and you're emailing, and you're hitting people where they are, and you're giving them the type of content that they want to see, and that's just amazing. So let me ask you another question, because I have about 1 million. I could podcast with you today until about 9 o'clock tonight if you don't have anything to do. I'm sure you don't. But so my next question was this. Just thought of this, by the way. How did you, I guess, educate you're very educated. You have a master's degree from Temple University, and you've done a lot in your life. You've had a lot of experiences, but how have you educated yourself since you took that position with the O'Neill Group to allow yourself to become somebody that, in my opinion, is kind of an expert in content marketing? I mean, if
That's a very good question.
YouTube stuff, watch Gary Vee, do a lot of Google searching. Did you go to class? How'd you get to the point that you're at today?
Well, I think first is that I am provided an environment that allows me to spend a lot of time doing that. So, fortunately, at the O'Neill Group, they give me that creative freedom and let me test things and try things and learn and give me the time to learn. So I'm very blessed there. And then second, it started I really started gaining momentum when I found Brian Hanley's content. That was a game changer for me. And while he was marketing to insurance agents and agencies, I was trying to replicate what he was doing for my consumers, if that makes sense. Yep. So I was just trying to replicate the process, but then make the messaging tailored to the people that our target audience.
You are not the only one doing that either.
Yeah. And so I kept following him and paying attention to the work that he was putting out. And then, then you get introduced to Joey and Sydney when everybody was together in Agency Nation, and started following all of that type of content and networking with the right people, learning about what they were doing and what was working within their agencies, and then kind of organizing that all into my agency. And because I think what sets it apart a little bit is our insurance agency has a dedicated marketing person to do all of that, right? And I don't know how some agents put, an emphasis on marketing when they're also servicing clients and things like that. So I imagine that that's just a really hard position to be in, and that's the nature of my role. That's my entire job.
It's one of those things that having a dedicated marketing person, I mean, everybody can't do it, but the ones who can, it gives you the opportunity to put yourself just so far ahead of your competition where it's not even comparable. And not only are you putting yourself so far ahead in the short term, but you're also putting yourself extremely far ahead in the long term.
That's where we're starting. That's where we're starting to see the real results is I mean, I've been here 2.5 years now. Now we have a foundation that we can scale on, really, around the marketing. So.
And you're probably getting results from stuff you did 6-8 months ago or even longer now.
Right.
Dani, what you just described earlier is my agency. I'm doing all the content. I'm doing if anything gets posted, Scott's doing it. And I want to speak because I am the voice of the 250,000 insurance agents. All I am is an insurance agent who makes tons of mistakes every day and happens to have a podcast. So I am the voice of the average insurance agent out there that has a book of business and is just trying to get better every day. That's who I am. I don't have a marketing person in my agency. I should. I will say that when Donald Trump elects me as the insurance czar over all of insurance across the United States of America, I will be probably over the big I and be in charge of the big I. I will be over all captive agents and independent agents. When that happens, what I want to do, and I may need your blessing on this, but 10 years ago, when you said the word marketing rep or marketing person in an insurance agent, that wasn't what you do. That was the person that the commercial insurance agent goes out there and meets a client and finds out all he can about their business. He calls into that marketing person, and that marketing person's job is to go out and find the best company that fits that particular risk. That was the marketing position in an insurance agent. And I feel like what we've done is we've kind of double dipped here, because you still have that position, especially in a lot of bigger agencies, but then you've also got this new position that you have, that's the marketing person or people within an agency that are doing the content creation and the videoing and the SEO strategy and stuff like that. So as the insurance czar over the entire United States of America, I'm going to probably be tasked with coming up with creating a new name for your position that will then be mandatory that all insurance agents call it that. What do you think, Bradley?
Is that a paid position?
Of course it is. I'll have my own airplane, probably a helicopter. It'll be a big deal.
We just went on a weird tangent.
It's going to be a big deal. But we've got to change that name. Somebody's got to change their name. You can't have two different job descriptions and both be called the marketing person or whatever. I'm telling you, I'm going to make it happen.
I'm with you. That's true. I like that. I look forward to that happening.
So you got a bunch of agents listening to this right now that are like me, that don't have a quote unquote marketing arm or marketing department. Give us some advice for those guys. What's your best advice to them as far as getting out there and getting started and creating content? What's the biggest bang for their buck in terms of reaching 100% of the marketplace?
And obviously everybody can't go out and hire a Dani Kimble, but for the people who can't, how would you recommend getting started doing that? I think is what he's asking.
Exactly.
Sure. Yeah. I think social media, I always recommend social media as being a really great place to spend some time in as somebody, as an agent in the business. From a personal branding perspective, I think there's so much opportunity around personal branding for insurance agents, especially in this day and age. And focusing, if you're doing a niche in commercial insurance, then finding those networks and connections on LinkedIn that are inside that niche and building relationships there, posting content in that space and trying to get their attention, capture their attention. And if you're heavy in personal lines, focus and Facebook and Instagram. I mean, we are just meeting and making connections with so many amazing people in our community and really, truly building brand awareness around our culture through our Instagram account. And paying $5 to put an ad out that hits everybody in our area, focused around what we're doing this Friday at the agency, inviting the community in for a community event. So it's simple things in social media, but it does require some extra time spent there from a personal branding perspective, if that makes sense.
Instagram is key. I've been saying for a year and a half, insurance agents got to get on Instagram. And once they get there, it's going to be something else. But the reason I say that is they're not there. You know, if your competition is not somewhere, but there are clients there, customers there, potential customers there, that's where you need to be.
Yeah, I agree. And in the direct message field of Instagram, there's huge opportunity there. I've built some incredible referral partners and relationships just through direct message.
You're one of the better people at that too.
I was listening to Gary Vaynerchuk last night on my 37-hour drive down to Mobile. Gary was talking about every single platform and where we stand right now in terms of where that platform is here in the United States with how people use it, the demographic. And he was talking about Instagram, and he said, you know, there is no better place in social media if you want to try to reach out to a celebrity, okay, or in this case, make connections relative to the insurance industry. There is no better place to be able to reach out to that person and get a response than Instagram. Right. Than Instagram direct message. People will surprisingly answer, you know, when you DM them.
That's how we got a lot of our guests, Danny, and I'm so glad you bring that up because I'm a huge fan of the Instagram DM and just if nothing else, just to engage with people, you know, and start that conversation because I get a lot of people will ask me, you know, I would love to know your strategy for getting some of these guests on the podcast. Do you reach out? Like, so we had like Tom Hegna on here, who is the life insurance guru. He charges upwards of $10,000 for a speech. Wow. And I had a State Farm agent reach out to me. He's huge with State Farm. And he said, I would love to know your strategy on getting Tom Hegna to talk to you. Did you reach out to his agent and this? And I said, I picked up my phone. I went to Instagram. I hit the little arrow and I said, hey, Tom, here's my podcast. Want to be on it. And Tom said, here's my cell number. Call me. That easy, you know, it's there's so much can be done from there. I agree 100%. And, you know, one thing that I do, and I'm curious to know if you guys do this, anytime I pick up a new follower that looks obviously you get some spam on there, especially if you're using a lot of hashtags. But anytime I pick up a new follower that looks like someone that I want to network with /do business with, I send them a direct message after they follow me and say, hey, I really appreciate you following me. Let me know if there's anything I can do. And I've been doing that for about 3 months, and that has led to so many opportunities.
Yeah, I do the exact same thing, and I track it all. So I have 100% seen rate and a 93% open rate as of today, response rate, 93% awesome. Response rate as of today. And you compare that to email, right? And email has become so saturated. I'm lucky if I hit a 48% on my current clients sometimes. Right. So that's a direct message is so underutilized, and there's not a lot of competition in there. I do the same thing. Every new follower that's a network, that's a part of a carrier that we're connected to, or a potential client or prospect, I do a direct message directly to them. I've built referral partners off of that. It's key, definitely.
And it's what are you guys saying when you do that, if you don't mind me asking? Because I think too many people, and I get some people doing that to me, and it's always a little bit too much right hook. Mm-hmm. It's, hey, I'm such and such. I do this. Here's my website. Here's my Instagram page. Will you please follow me? This, that, and the other. And I'm like, just say hi.
Yep, and that's what I do. So I'm in control of Instagram. Nobody else has it. So right away I'll go look and put the camera in front of my face and I'll follow them back and I'll kind of go through their profile first. I'll say, hey, thanks so much for following us on Instagram. I'm excited to learn more about you, connect with you here. I see that you ran a 5K last week. congratulations, that looks awesome. Look at their pictures and kind of get a feel for what's been up the past few weeks and reference something on their profile.
That's so great. I love that so much. That is awesome. It's like, Paradiso will do that. Paradiso, when he picks up a new follower, will go in and like 15 of their posts in a row to get their attention. And right. And of course he's usually doing it at 3:00 in the morning when he wakes up.
Yep.
But it's the people, we were talking about this earlier with Jared Bellman. Just engage with people, just comment, just talk to folks, and if somebody engages with you, engage back.
I believe Bradley said that is the worst kind of human being in the world.
The kind of human being, the kind of marketer that gets engagement on their posts and is lucky enough, fortunate enough to get engagement on their posts and not engage back, just needs to go ahead and delete their account.
Danny,
how do you feel about that?
Hey, Danny, I
agree.
Wait just a second, Danny, because you're about to witness something that's never been done before. Bradley Flowers is about to come over the table on me in just a second, and we may have to end the podcast shortly.
Do you do that?
I'm that guy. I'm that guy.
Well, it's that. So when he asked you your strategy with your marketing, my strategy, I have one thing in mind when I put something out. It's to get engagement. That's it. That's all I want to do, because number one, that leads to the sales, that leads to the conversations, but mainly because I went 3.5 years with that was the main thing I did every day was post and market and create content, and nobody engaged. So now I am 1000x fortunate and happy when I do get that engagement. So I hate seeing a restaurant or a dog grooming business that's getting tons of engagements on their posts and they're not even commenting back. And I'm like, you guys, and then those are the same people that are going to say social media doesn't work. I'm like, you guys have no idea how hard it is. Why don't you try to sell a product that's invisible and nobody wants to buy? It's insurance. Exactly. But not only this, engaging back helps you, because if you engage back, it's going to increase the reach of that post. And so you're shooting yourself in the foot is what you're doing. Sorry for the rant. That's the second time today he's got me to do that.
No, I agree with you. I mean, even on a personal level, like too, if you personally on Facebook or wherever, engaging back, that's personal branding is huge right now, even if it's just friends and family, like engaging back there, not just on your business accounts, because it's not just about the algorithm and how many likes you get. It's about building. You're on social media to be social.
It's just being a nice freaking human.
And from a personal profile, right? So be human, be social, build relationships, right? Yeah.
And I believe what I said earlier was the person that doesn't engage back is the equivalent of the person that sees you in the grocery store that knows you but doesn't smile, doesn't speak, just keeps walking. Kind of like when you see somebody from high school, Yeah. But, personal brand is just a new word for reputation. It's just your online reputation is all it is.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to talk a little bit more about, I go back to your bio and we talk about transforming the agency brand to center around its culture and has humanized the brand experience. Talk a little bit about that in layman's terms, because you have to understand I have the intelligence level of about a 7th grader. So it's hard when I start reading things like that. It's very difficult for me to understand exactly what that means. So
sure.
kind of in layman's terms, tell us what that means exactly.
Sure. Well, and I think culture can be such a broad term and can be perceived as fluff. So there's just so many different meanings around workplace culture today. But at the O'Neill Group, we have such an intentional workplace culture. We have a strategy, a culture plan that we live out every single day. We have 30 fundamentals. So as most people have core values, we have core values too, but we also have these fundamentals internally across our team. And every week we focus on a new fundamental. So this week's fundamental is do what's best for the client. That's an example. And at every meeting, we talk about the fundamental of the week. One of our employees is assigned to write an email around their insight and perspective on that particular fundamental and send it out to the team. And we introduce these fundamentals to our clients too, just so they know that we're holding ourselves to a high standard internally inside our office, and these are the expectations that our team has for each other. So we have that internally. And when I went into the interview, knowing that there's this incredible culture here, it's like, okay, how do we tell this story? Like, it's a beautiful story. I mean, we coach and teach around these behaviors. We've seen a huge shift in performance because of them. How do we tell that story? And it's actually just naturally, organically, and by accident become part of our brand. So if you go to my Instagram, the O'Neill Group's Instagram or Facebook page, you'll see our people. You'll see a dog in the office. You'll see us just being us behind the scenes, being human, celebrating successes, bringing in lunch, really, really social things. And not putting out content that's focused, like a branded content around flood insurance, for example. It's just showing people we're a part of this community. We care about the community. We care about the people inside our agency, and we show them all. So our people and our culture have really become our brand.
People want to see that. They want to see the behind the scenes. There's a reason reality TV works. Ryan Serhant, who spoke at Agent 2021 last year, is on $1 Million Listing. I could go to sleep to that show, but when I watch, and that's extreme, but I'm not a huge fan, but I absolutely love his YouTube vlog because it shows behind the scenes. It shows the day-to-day. To me, that's what people want to see.
Yeah, and that's where we get the most engagement. Like you said, the goal for you is engagement. That's where we get the most engagement, is when people can connect with who their insurance agent is and know that they like to have, know when it's their birthday and they like white cake with white icing on their birthday. I mean, we're posting those simple things of like our employees and their day-to-day everyday action.
Yep. Hey, Dani, I got a question for you. What is your favorite social media platform that gets you guys the most engagement? Can I guess? Bradley said Instagram. I'm going to guess Facebook.
Is that like asking you your favorite kid?
Well, I'm just saying, the one that gets you the most engagement, basically. What?
The most engagement, almost from behind the scenes, would be Instagram. The most engagement through direct message, I would say, on Instagram platform. But it also depends on the type of content I'm putting out. So if I'm putting content out around, like, the O'Neill family, for example, a ton of them are more on Facebook, and their friends and their family are all following us on Facebook and just live in the Facebook world more so than the Instagram world. So we get a ton of relationship-based things on Facebook around, if it's centered around the O'Neill family. That makes sense. Do
you guys utilize Twitter at all?
We do a little bit. I mostly do it personally from a personal brand perspective, but we do a little bit with the O'Neill Group's page.
Hashtag 5am Club INS.
Yes, exactly.
So I'll tell you what Vaynerchuk said last night. He said Instagram has matured to the point now where it's really kind of caught up with Facebook in terms of demographic and users. We got, it's just matured. It's got to where, my mom's on Instagram and people that age are utilizing Instagram. I think a lot of people like Instagram more because you don't have the political rants and the, let me tell you about my sorry ex-husband and what he did and that kind of stuff. So I think Instagram has matured there and is gaining more and more popularity. He said that Twitter is not really the place to get on and do a lot of posting, but it's that counterpunch of jumping in a conversation, connecting with people and joining a conversation, and that's the best place to do that. That's kind of what he was saying last night.
How important do you feel follower count is?
It depends on the strategy. So for me, I was deploying a lot of the hashtag strategy initially around like Motivational Monday and things of that sort. And I was getting a lot of followers that are not connected to my business in any way, would not have any interest in doing business with us or have any sense of building a relationship. I mean, it could be some random person from California that is a motivational speaker, right? So not that there's not potential to build a relationship there, but it's not really where I need to put my focus at. So to me, it's about getting quality followers. And I believe that comes organically and you can accomplish it through hashtags around like your city and your state and locally, any popular hashtags locally, as well as through the inexpensive ads that Instagram and Facebook offer.
I agree 100%. And I mean this across all platforms, not just Instagram, but I think that the right 200 followers are better than the wrong 40,000 followers. And depending on what you're trying to do. And I think, I made an Instagram post the other day and decided not to post it because I do have some friends with a lot of followers, and I didn't want them to think it was directed at them. But I think, if you think that follower count is the reason you haven't won or the reason you should win, that's the exact reason you haven't won. And I think so many people get wrapped up in the, I have 34,000 followers. I should get to do that, or this should happen, that kind of thing. When as long as you put your head down and chug away and do what you need to do, it's all going to work out in the end, right? I mean, that was kind of our goal with this podcast is we were going to do it. Scott and I are sitting here I never thought we would have as many downloads as we have, but we would still be doing this just like we're doing it if we were at 200, and or 2,000. And so I think too many people get wrapped up in that. I got into a discussion with someone the other day who was, a little bit bummed out or not bummed out, more PO'd that he didn't get the nod for Agent 2021 because he had a bunch of followers. And I'm like, if you think that that's the reason you should get it, you don't really deserve to be there,
Sure.
And it's frustrating for people to think, okay, that's the only thing that matters. I can just go buy 100,000 followers on Fiverr and that'll take care of itself. When in reality, you've accomplished nothing. What are your thoughts?
No, I totally agree with that. You can't measure the success on the number of followers and sometimes even the number of likes. Like, people will refer to some posts that they've seen, and I'll be like, I'll reflect back and say, I didn't see that they liked it or they commented on it, but they're seeing things. Yep. So it's hard to measure the success of that. I also noticed, though, that if I'm putting out too much content or if I'm trying to, force content that doesn't feel natural, I start losing some of the good followers.
Yep.
And so it just has to be a natural process and trusting that process and taking the time to build it. Because when I encourage people to start social media, to get on Instagram, start posting, and if they're only getting 3 likes for a month and they feel discouraged by that, some of them will stop. And I see that happening. Like, they'll just turn it off altogether, or they won't be as consistent with it. And I think it takes years and I still am in the process of developing our Instagram, finding the right strategy for it, finding a way to organically grow the right quality followers. So it just takes time and consistency.
It's time, commitment, consistency, and realizing that this is a long-term play. It's not a I'm going to post that's the mistake I think too many people make is I'm going to do a post today and I'm going to get some business from this today, and that's where you make the mistake. And it's natural to think that way, and that's where I think you make the mistake of coming, not you, but people in general make the mistake of coming across as spammy when they're posting with the intention of making a sale. It's kind of like asking every girl in a bar out. Yeah, one of them's going to say yes, but you've annoyed the rest of them. You might make a sale from that right hook post, and I'll do that every now and then, once a year or so. You might make one sale from that, but it's cost you long-term business for short-term business, and that's why I say I say that to other people, and I'm also reminding myself of that. Is look, we're just trying to get engagement. We're not trying to sell anything, because engagement will lead to sales.
Yep.
So
lead to relationship, and relationship it can lead to multiple sales. It could lead to a commercial sale that then turns into multiple personal line sales, and then the cross-sell, the referrals come in. So you're right. You're spot on there.
And people feel like they know you. You'll meet people. Right. I meet so many people at networking events, and they're like, "Hey, Sarahland_insurance." And I'm like, hey, I don't know you. Like, yeah, it's Instagram. I just feel like I know you, and so it's that, to me, that's the coolest thing is people. It allows you to know so many people. So
Dani, I've got to wrap this thing up today. I just want to tell you how humbled and how blessed we are to have you on the podcast. You know, I don't know that we've had anybody on that's as good at what you do as you are. If you ever decide you want to move to Huntsville, Alabama, please let me know, and we will talk about you becoming the marketing czar for my insurance agency. I would love to have that conversation. But guys, listen to me. You want to reach 100% of the market, you got to be where people are. You got to be where 100% of the market is. And where are people? Well, we all have our phones surgically attached to our arm. While you're listening to this right now, you could probably look to the left and look to your right in traffic, and somebody's doing 75 miles an hour going down the road while they're looking at their smartphone. You've got to reach people where they are to get to 100% of the market, and you've got to figure out how to do that.
And you've got to go to Agent 2021 and see Dani and myself.
That absolutely. Look forward to seeing you down there, and we are blessed and honored to have you on this show. But guys, listen to me. Rewards come from action, not discussion. Get your ass out from behind that desk and go out into the big bad world and sell insurance today. Make money for your family, your children. Write good business for the agencies that you represent. Write good business for the companies that you represent. Bradley Flowers, I love you.
Appreciate you. Thanks, Dani.
Guys, you are listening.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, ma'am. Guys, you are listening to the Insurance Guys podcast, and we'll see you back here real soon. Take care. Thanks for listening to the Insurance Guys podcast. If you need to know more about me or you need to get in touch with Scott, you can always reach me at theinsuranceguy.online.com or email me at iprotectins@gmail.com. And if you need to get in touch with Mr. Bradley Flowers, go to bradleyflowersinsurance.com or email him at bradley@saralandinsurance.com. Guys, we love you. Thank you so much for listening. We look forward to being with you again real soon on the next episode of The Insurance Guys. Take care.